Something hunts these mountains, shaped from myth. Formed by the spirit of the mountain man, he lives by the way he hunts. Born of the mountains, blood of the Indian, he survives by hawking and longbow. He's alone, he's free, he's forged by the elements. Journey with the last of a breed, Sasquatch Mountain Man. The saga of Sasquatch Laramy Miller goes on. Siwashing, they call it, staying on the track of the cat through the winter and the snow without a tent or more supplies than you and your horse can carry. Your rifle bullet and arrowhead bring you what you need. Enough meat and furs to bear you forth to your next rendezvous with the legend of the mountain men. The late-season snows on the Montana mountainsides hush the steps of Sasquatch as he stalks the woods in search of the white-tailed deer. Laramy's mountain man forebearers called it the Virginia, or common deer. But there's nothing common about the whitetail, the most ancient species of deer in the world, and maybe the smartest, even if this doe shows no fear.
Got a big rub line right here. It goes all the way down this ridge. There's a nice little finger ridge right here. Sit here for a minute. I'm gonna try grunting a few times. I don't have my rattling bags today, but otherwise I'd try to rattle a little bit. I'm gonna sit here and see if we can't entice one of these bucks to come check us out.
The time of the rut. The time when the bucks are most active, grunting, rubbing their antlers on brush and trees, scraping up the ground with their hooves and marking their territories. Now, does are the key to finding the bucks, as the males will be irresistibly drawn to where the females are. It's the white flag of surrender and alarm.
You know, with this wind blowing in the snow, it makes it a little easier for us to spot them animals, and we can walk, without them hearing us because the wind covering our noise a little bit. But when they see you, boy, and you don't have that snow on, like the rest of the trees, the rest of the country, just had a doe stare us down for about 5 minutes. That's a good sign. We got does in the area. You know the bucks are somewhere close. I've been seeing a lot of fresh scrapes and rubs, so the rut is on. We just need to find a big boy cruising.
They have many names for Sasquatch. Call him Bigfoot, call him Yeti, or as northern natives call him, Snowwalker.
He's standing right there. It's a white-tailed buck standing right there. Spotted a real nice buck about 100 yards away. Didn't really know we were around, but something spooked him. And he just kind of trotted into the woods, so I'm going to circle around, get in front of him, see if he doesn't cross in front of us. Look at the draw. stopping at the top of this ridge. It's only about 100 yards. All I needed was one step. Could have probably got a shot. But that's the way it works. The wind's kind of swirling around in here. Blood wasn't really spooked, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. I'll come back in here this evening and tomorrow morning if nothing happens this evening. And I'll rattle and do some grunting because he was a really nice buck. Let's hope we get another crack at him.
Fresh snow, heaven sent in every way for a hungry mountain man. Tracks get laid down in it like a road map, leading to new scrapes and other signs that promise fresh meat. High up in the Montana mountains, Laramy Miller has become the snow walker on the trail of the white-tailed deer, the most abundant big game in North America.
You can tell where a deer bedded down last night, waited out the storm. Looks like a smaller buck track, maybe a big doe, can't really tell. The snow's kind of covered it up. There's a lot of trackers in this area this morning. We got all this snow last night, so not a deer. We just gotta be patient. Hopefully we can find the right deer.
You can look at snow and see soft beauty, or a killer of those who do not respect it.
You got one bedded down facing this way, one bedded down facing that way, and then you got this one bedded down facing that way. They got all their corners covered. They're pretty smart critters.
For many mountain men, the first snow was the signal to leave, to hightail it for the flatland. But there was a special breed called the Havaranos, the winter ones, who welcomed the snows so they could have the mountains all to themselves.
You look out across this, and a lot of people wonder why I like to be out in the middle of nowhere all the time, why I love the mountains. When you look out across that, look at the beauty that God created. It explains it right there.
For the whitetail, there is winter in their blood. It's the season they were truly made for, the one they fattened for the 3 other seasons of the year. But that's not how it is with humans. They have to find ways to fight winter and snow from the outside in. They need clothes and shelter. Fire. They can't live off their fat as long as a deer. And no matter how cold, they always need water. The world of the mountain men was one of fearsome competition. Indians fought them over hunting grounds, and other trappers fought them for beaver ponds and streams. They even battled wild predators over food. When Warren Ferris and his men found their survival cache of venison had been raided by bears, they had already passed up several chances to kill more deer. With a savage blizzard setting in, they couldn't hunt. But worse was a lack of water. The nearest source lay at the foot of a perilous cliff that was suicide to try to scale. There was snow, yes, but eating snow drops a man's body temperature dangerously low, making it easier for him to freeze. And liquid water is purer than snow, which can be crawling with bacteria. Starving and dying of thirst, Ferris and his band could only eat the scraps of deer the bears had left, and packed the deer guts with snow and melted on the hot stones of their fire until the weather lifted and they could travel on. Luckily for Laramy Miller, he has good water, but what he needs now is fresh venison. To the high country of Montana have come the white snows, and with them has come the snowwalker, Laramy Miller, who winds along the trail of the white-tailed deer. The great Jack London wrote a story about a man who must build a fire to keep from freezing to death, but he's a greenhorn in the mountains and depends on matches. That is his undoing. Sasquatch knows the steps of building a fire, of gathering the right tinder and the use of flint steel and magnesium fire starter, and how to keep the flames ablaze once they've been lighted.
The reason you want to make a teepee like this is because when you start the fire at the bottom, you have a lot more surface for the flames and heat to hit to start if your sticks are vertical rather than if they're laying flat on the ground. When you're in the middle of the mountains, there's no secret to cooking any type of wild game. You cook it however means you have necessary, whether it be like this, shish kebab over a stick, in a Dutch oven. You find wild herbs around. I mean, you got all asparagus, wild onions, strawberries, blackberries in the summer. You eat what you have in front of you, whether it be worm pretzels or a good old juicy elk steak. You might go days without food. And about that time, them worm pretzels are sounding pretty good. That pot's got to get over 400, 450 degrees in order for that lead to melt. You know, the best part of making these bullets is being self-sufficient. That's the whole reason I make bullets, make clothes, you know, whatever it might be, live in the woods. I don't want to have to rely on anybody. I don't want anybody telling me what to do, live my life the way I want to. I can go hunting every day of the year if I wanted to. And that's, I mean, the biggest thrill to me is taking down an animal with a bullet that you actually made. I mean, not many people can say that. And remember, anybody that does want to tell me what to do, I make my own bullets.
Laramy won't be caught with wet shoes and socks that can freeze to his legs and cost him his feet, or maybe his life.
What do you think somebody's going to say when they see size 15 footprints out here in the snow? Yeah, he exists. Finally got some good weather to kick the rut in a little better, and you can tell it's working. Been through this same area a couple times here already, and you can already tell
there's fresh rubs almost every night. So you know there's a decent buck using this area. It's probably his travel corridor. There's a ridge that goes down the backside. He's probably traveling the ridge back and forth, just checking for does. You can tell just about every time we come up here, there's a new rub. So he's in the area. This might be a decent place to kind of sit and wait out for him. But I'm a spot stock hunter. I think I'll just keep trying to stalk through here and see what else I can't find. Come back through here about dark, see if he's meandering around. The smart thing would be to sit and wait for him. That'd be the easiest way to kill a good buck, but I love the thrill of trying to sneak up on him. With whitetail, let me tell you, it ain't easy, especially with two people. I'm not out here by myself.
Powdery new snow muffles the giant footsteps of the snowwalker as he closes in on the white-tailed deer. Snow has come to the mountains of Montana, and Sasquatch Miller keeps his eye along the skyline and his nose to the wind as he hunts the venison he needs to carry him through the winter.
You know, this is the kind of situation where hunting smarter, not harder, is the best thing you can do. We got all these bucks moving. The rut's kicked in. The snow's brought the rut in hard. The biggest thing right now is just to have patience. Just be patient. Find somewhere, sit down. You know, just wait it out. Because if you're in the area where there's deer, sooner or later you're going to get lucky and there's going to be a big buck walk by you. But you got to have the patience to do that. And it's really hard for me because I'm a runner and gunner. I love to get out, be one with the animals, but sometimes you got to sit and wait it out. And that's the smartest thing to do right now.
But it's the time of the rut, and where there are doe deer, a buck will not be far behind. The 54 Hawken, 1,400 feet per second velocity and 1 ton of energy. For Sasquatch, honoring the traditions of the mountain men means wasting nothing of the game he kills.
You know, if you want to make buckskins and whatnot for yourself, the biggest thing you want to do when you get a hide is make sure you flush it all real good to start with, and then you put your salt on. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. You know, back in the day, the Indians used to pee on it because it would dry, that salt in their pee would dry out the hide, and that's what you want, is you want the hide to dry and pull all that moisture out so that the hair sticks. If you still got moisture in your hide and you leave it for too long, your hair's going to start sloughing, and that's not bad if you want hairless buckskin. But for the winter's up here, I'm gonna leave the hair on. Okay, that's decent for now. It's got a little bit of meat on it and whatnot, but when I put that salt on and it dries off, it'll make it easier to scrape off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna salt it, and you wanna let it sit for a couple days, salt it again. You know, you wanna check it, you don't want it to get real hard. When you get done with the drying, you wanna soak it in some water and wash it really good, and put a little bit of baking soda in that water. That way the hair won't fall out, and it'll make your hide a little bit easier to maneuver, but you're gonna have to work it to loosen it up. I usually get some soap or something like that to really work it and make it limber. But now I'm gonna salt it and put it away for a while.
In the hide of the deer, Sasquatch sees not the cold of the season, but the sun of the summer and fall in which the fur grew, gathering in needed warmth for him, a true Havarano, a winter one, who will be here when spring returns to these high, rugged mountains. For Laramy, the trek goes on, but this time it's one small step for man, one giant fall for Sasquatch. Back on his feet, Sasquatch has new creeks to cross, new peaks to cross, here in the marrow of the world.